Let's get another run in. I think I'm gonna mostly try to commentate because I don't have anyone to chat to right now. I'll do my intro that I would like to try to do for the game. Okay. Hold on. Oh, I love this song. All right. Okay. So, all right, everyone. This is Moonlight Pulse. So this is a pretty cool game. So we are on a giant turtle floating through space. Yeah, that is very correct. The giant floating space turtle. And we play as a group of characters called curatives. They are part of a group that their mission is to protect the turtle, whose name I believe is Arrowask, is the way you pronounce that. And Arrowask has all these. There is kind of under attack right now. There's a lot of infections and things, and so these curatives go around and make sure that he stays healthy and does not die. Because if Arrowask dies, well, so unfortunately too does their home and them as well. So they're on this journey to protect where they live and the turtle. So that is how this journey kind of starts. Silex here is our main curative. He is kind of like the one that everybody's like, ooh, I want to be him when I grow up, or you know, he's the strong one. Okay. So this is what we're doing here at the start. So do some small platforming, and we're moving on to our first boss coming up. So this first boss is pretty easy. You can there is a way to one cycle this boss, or like one phase it basically, without having to utilize the next character that we will be getting. And we're gonna try to do that here. So basically, this is the move we want to start. We always want the fireball first, and then we want to get the boss down to about just above 400 and wait till they transition and start doing another move here. Because if we do it too early, they'll break the ceiling before we're ready. So we can get down a lot of HP. Then we gotta jump on its head, smack it, and then here we should be able to get the kill. That was a very good time. Holy moly, that I have never seen it done that fast. So that was really good. So anyway, now that the first boss is dead, we now have Laguna. So here is our friend Laguna. And now what's really cool about this game that is a little unique from other Metroidvanias, at least that I have played, is that you can freely swap between the characters as you are playing. You're attacking, jumping, platforming, everything. So it's very unique compared to most, where you are a single character and you gain upgrades through item pickups and things like that as you play the game. For this one, you don't really gain item upgrades or like skills and abilities with pickups. They kind of just come throughout the story. Oh, be nice if I could get up. Well, that's okay. All right, so there you can kind of see what happens when a character gets down to 0 HP. We got to be careful here, because if I take one more damage, what happens is Silex will die if it takes one more hit. And you can see on the bottom left, I have hearts. If any of those hearts ever if that's at 0 and one of the characters dies, it is an immediate game over. So we got to be very careful with that. All right, so back there, yeah, totally forgot to mention that little trick that I did, but we'll get to see something very similar again. But the way it works is, as you're at that edge of that cliff, back there where we did that skip, we have to very quickly do the little dodge roll with Silex, and then we immediately swap over to Laguna. That gives us a little bit of a boost, so that like just enough height to be able to get up that spot right there. All right, so we take an intentional damage right there to be a little invulnerable, so we can just skate right past all these and don't have to fight them. All right, now Laguna has his dash available. So all the characters in this game, all the, like I mentioned before, there are no like item pickups for their upgrades and like their abilities that they gain throughout the game. So there are like health and attack upgrades that exist, but the characters gain all their special abilities through cutscenes in the game. So up there, it kind of looked like the game just like paused for a second, and then the scene changed, and all of a sudden something else is going on. Yeah, those are the skip cutscenes. And there Laguna learns how to do his dashing as well. Just like, and so all the characters that you do get in this game have a form of a dash. but they do all have their own unique abilities too, like attacks, the way that they fight. So Laguna gets his next ability here, which is this little orb. This little orb, you charge it up by holding the attack button, and it allows you to bubble things. Used for puzzles, used to bubble enemies so that you don't have to fight them, which is what we mainly use it for. There is a couple one mandatory spot where we have to use the bubble for a puzzle. Oop. Okay, 1 second, let me get through these, because we do not want to fight these. They do a lot of damage to us. Okay. So now we're gonna, yep. And up we go. All right. So the next thing that we're gonna come up here, that I'll tell you about, we're gonna jump out right here, because we are going to get the second attack upgrade, which we saw the first one at the very beginning of the game, and I forgot to talk about it. But that's this right here, this little blue lightning bolt. So that is specifically, because it's a blue lightning bolt, is specifically an attack upgrade for Laguna. This allows Laguna to do, now instead of doing a base, he does a base of 4 damage or 5 damage, I believe, per attack. With the upgrades, he does now 6 damage per little bubble. All right, so here we're gonna do our little swap so we can get up here unintentionally early, so we can break these little infections on these are blood vessels. This is kind of like the fast travel system, so we break those so that we can go ahead and get through those areas of the tube. Okay. Oop, don't want to get hit by that. That's fine. Alright, so here comes the next skip. Let's see if we can get this first try. Yep. Alright, so that's another one of those little quick swaps like what we did in the beginning. That I was explaining, where by switching to the characters, you get just enough height to be able to reach the tops of those. Alright, so this is our second boss, this is Pippin. So this is why we take a lot of the attack upgrades. It is so that we can do some good damage on this boss. It's not necessary, but it does make it faster. Alright, so this boss is a mosquito, if you haven't noticed, and he's sucking blood out of these little arteries. That was a good kill. Alright, and that's Pippin. And so now, we get the next ability, and this one is for Silex, and now he can wall jump. But don't get attached to Silex. They got some bad news for you. He's gone. Right here. He gets, in that cutscene that we don't get to see, he gets taken over by a mind parasite, and Laguna gets left out on his own. And now is now going to go seek help to try and rescue Silex. So this is a pretty scary section of the game, because if you die, you hit 0 HP, it is a complete game over. There is no recovery, there is no second chance, because you do not have anyone else to protect Laguna. So you have to be as quick as possible in this section, but as safe as possible. Alright. So here, we're just going to keep going through. One thing I didn't mention earlier that we did get, that little crystal. So there are equipable items in this game that each of the character can equip one thing at a time. And they do give you some kind of benefit. So the one that is equipped right now, what allows them to do is skip, or so that when they are in the little acid down there, the acid buildup is not as quick. Because otherwise, the buildup would be really fast and you would take a lot of damage and die very quickly. Oop. So that's what that equip was. Okay, we bubble those because Laguna, unfortunately, does not have the ability to kill those. So we have to bubble them to stay away from them, or they will snipe us with that laser, and I'm pretty sure it's not quite a one-shot, but it does, I think, 18 damage. So we do not want to get hit by that. Alright, so this is one of the other reasons we'd have the bubbles. So like I mentioned before, for enemies and for puzzles. So we have to do this little puzzle so that we can get up to the ledge above. Alright. And now, you get to see some of the movement with Laguna. there is some optimizations you can do with this as long as you do your jumps properly, which I did not there. But we're good, so there you go. And now we have our first arena fight. So there are quite a few of these throughout the game. This is the first one. And so you just want to kill these enemies as fast as possible. And one thing that you will not see here, but the screen kind of changes color, right? So that indicates that there is, you're stuck in an arena, and that the sides of the screen actually wrap around now. There is no longer, you cannot go past the edges of the screen, but we use that to our advantage because we are able to jump to different sides of the screen very quickly. And we are able to use that with the bubble ability here later on, where we can get out some more damage by wrapping those bubbles around the screen. Alright. Okay, so upcoming here is Charlotte. So I'll give you a little bit of background about who Charlotte is. Charlotte is a lamb who is from the very top of the turtle, who lives on the back of the turtle. She's a cool character. She has a whip as her choice or weapon of choice, and she is able to grab ledges, as you have just seen. So Laguna, our little fox buddy, does not have opposable thumbs, but apparently the lamb does. And so she is able to grab ledges. And eventually here, which is what we're doing now next, is we are going to grab her first upgrade, which is a grapple. Alright. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of some tight platforming here. This section can be pretty scary too. There's a lot of things that can hurt you. Ooh. Yeah, that's fine. We're good. Whew. That for me is the scariest part. All right. So we have to do some quick swaps occasionally, as you just saw there, in order to be able to grab ledges like that. So we're also picking up this item. This is the Storm Orb. This is probably... It's not the best item in the game for the run. It's close, but that allows you to charge up Laguna's orb faster. And what I just showed there that you didn't see is when falling, Charlotte currently is the fastest way to fall. As you whip as you fall faster. So we use that in a couple places until we get Laguna's next upgrade, which has a way to fall even faster. Ooh. Alright, here I'm going to take a second to focus, because I'm not very good at this part, and we are going to bubble these. So we do not have to fight them, because it takes way too long to fight them. There we go. Up. That's fine. Sometimes you overshoot that, and it's okay. So now we go all the way back. This has to look familiar. All right, because now we're gonna go all the way up top to go help Charlotte, because she will not help us unless we go help her village up on the top of the turtle and save her village. So that's what we're gonna go do now. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here is after we get through a lot of this... well, actually, let me explain too. What's really cool is you'll see here, this is where the run gets a lot more interesting and fun. And challenging. Now that we have the grapple, a lot of the movement in this game kind of breaks wide open. And there's going to be a lot of character swapping and a lot of just very fast, quick inputs to be able to traverse around as quickly as possible. So this is where the movement in the game picks up. These two characters do a lot together to be able to do that. And we'll get another good addition to the movement here later. Do some quick damage. There we go. Not bad. So here, we do this arena fight to be able to talk to this mouse and get the spoiled cookie, which we need to equip on Charlotte. So what that spoiled cookie allows is when we coming up to this next boss, this allows us to kill the boss a lot faster. So we all want to pick that up. All right, and then as you see, we now have this little orb ability. This is the ability that we just got for Laguna. This allows you to fall faster. It also allows you to bounce on enemies quicker, bounce off of enemies. So as you'll see kind of coming up here, go to bounce off these little blue balls. Okay. See if we can get this cycle. Yep, we're good. Okay, when we got that. Alright, now we're going to do another cheeky little skip here. Okay, there we go. Skip's having to do some other, like, platform sections with Laguna's bubble. Okay, and now we move on to the boss. This is going to be Nephili. So this is a very interesting boss. You'll see why in a second. So we're going to do this. So we have some attack here with Charlotte. So basically, if you swing or hit with the weapon and then jump right after and alternate like attacking and jumping and quickly hitting attack again, you can kind of cancel the animation and attack faster. So this is where the boss gets interesting. So you must be thinking, wow, the boss has a lot of HP. Well, that's part of why we take the cookie. And you're also thinking, well, how do we damage the boss? Well, you're about to see. Very strange. Yep, you didn't guess it. Right into the eye. Okay. Alright. So now the cookie is going to poison our boss. And we're going to be able to run back and just go straight back in and doing damage. So this is why you take the cookie, or in general, because in this way, otherwise you'd have to do a whole nother phase of running through this platform and dodging her attacks. But now we can just get 2 quick attack phases back to back. Oh, I messed up that. That's fine. It was pretty good. All right. And now we can move on. And now we head to the next section of the game where we are going to get our next friend. This is where we are going to get Clyde. So Clyde is another buddy and will be our third partner. We have a lot more just pretty standard platforming. Not a whole lot more to explain mechanic-wise of this game. If there are any other questions or things that we can talk about. Simba, move, dude. All right. Oop, we got to go through this gauntlet again. Everyone's favorite. Move, please. Oh, missed that. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Here we go. This is a bit of a dangerous area of the game. A lot of platforming, type platforming on lava that will kill you instantly. And a lot of enemies in the way that are trying to really ruin your day. We're going to do our best to avoid them all. These ones particularly, yep. As you can see, they really like to get in your way and jump right when you're going over them. That's okay. So, yep, we gotta break that one to be able to climb on through the pipe, or through the blood vessel right there. That's how we get to Clyde. So now we got another arena fight, so we're gonna do some wraparounds. Come on. And these enemies spawn in the same places every arena. It's one of the few constants in this game. So that we can do these arena fights a little easier. We know where they spawn, so we can kind of prepare for that as we go. All right, and now we get introduced to Clyde. So Clyde is a dog, like I mentioned, and he is in a mech. He is really cool. He has a flamethrower on his mech. Oops. And he can also cast a little tether line that I accidentally just used. So that you cast it between two spaces, and you can use it as a little platform. So that'll be pretty useful coming up. But otherwise, he's not really like used a lot for the exploration or movement in this game. He's not super fast, but he is going to be utilized for his damage later on. It's kind of crazy. You'll just have to see. All right. And so now what makes a little bit more difficult having Clyde as well is now we no longer just have one person to swap to. So normally you swap with the shoulder buttons like L1 or R1 or left or right bumper if you're on an Xbox controller. And it would just be one click would swap to the other character. But now that we have multiple, the left bumper goes to the left of the character and the right goes to the right of whichever character you have. So now it gets a little bit more confusing for your hands to quickly know which character you need to be clicking. Luckily, the characters do not swap positions throughout the game. Once they, aside from the beginning when after Silex goes, they will all be in the same order every time you play, and there's no way to change that. So it's just kind of muscle memory. Oh, wrong direction. Then we gotta tether our way all the way up to the top here. Yep. And we're gonna try to get up. Oh. We gotta kill these enemies. We can get this upgrade. This is for Clyde, so now Clyde has his dash as well. Whoop. That was scary. Let's hope I can dodge that. Yep. All right. Hit this checkpoint, and now we have one last tiny little section here before we get to Clyde. All right, so for the Silex fight, we have to do this little arena fight at the same time. So we are going to clear this as quickly as possible. And once this arena fight's been cleared, we then fight Silex and rescue him from the mine parasite. Yeah. And so the way we're going to kill him really quickly, or defeat him really quickly, is we're going to utilize Charlotte. So as you see, when you hit with the tip of that whip, you do a lot of extra damage. So that is very big for this fight. Oh, wow. So you got to try to get it just perfectly at the tip right there. It can be a little difficult sometimes to judge the distance, even though it doesn't change. In the moment when you have to quickly adjust your position, it can be a little difficult. All right, we're going to kill that. All right, and we move on. So now we're going to come to the most difficult section of this entire game. I loathe this section. It is very hard, but basically what has to happen here is there are 15 orbs that we have to collect throughout this. Oh boy. Okay, let's see if we can get up. This is gonna... Oh, this is gonna be very interesting. Alright, we're good. So we just picked up the oily ink there. What that's gonna do for us is later on, we are going to use that. What that does when you equip it to Laguna, it gives his attacks oil properties, so that when... Oh boy. So that when you are playing as... so you hit some enemy with that, it makes them vulnerable to fire damage, so that Clyde can do crits with all of his attacks. So it's very useful. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take a minute to focus here. This is a very scary section. Alright, so now Silex gets a teleport ability right there in that cutscene. So he's able to now break through walls. Hey, what's up, dude? Come on. Yeah, we're gonna be a little safe here because I'm low on HP. Okay. Oop, gotta land. Oh, nice. You got in from being in New York City all day? Heck yeah. Was it fun? I've never been in New York, like, actually explored it or done anything. Only been to the airport. Oh, nice. Okay, well, that's good. At least you got to see and do new things then. That's fun. Yeah, I've never been. Walked like 5 miles. Damn, that's a lot of walking. Yeah, I've never been to New York. Like I said, I was only there for the airport when I got stuck on a bunch of layovers when I was going to GDQ last year in January. So haven't been. My wife and her, my sister-in-law are going actually. In like November, and I was like, y'all are crazy. It's gonna be cold as shit. But glad you had fun. You said you were going to see friends, right? That's why you went? Yeah? Pretty busy though? Yeah, well, of course, yeah. There's a shitload of people that live there. Friends from Australia? Yeah, that's so cool, man. Hopefully you had fun hanging out. Dude, I can only imagine that yeah, because like there's so much going on there, and it's just nonstop. Just you're in a city. That is it. There is no nothing else. And there's shit everywhere, I'm sure. Like to go see or places to run into. Oh. Central Park's hella big. Yeah, you know, it's funny, when I didn't realize just how big Central Park was, I always thought like, oh, you know, there's no way it could be that big in that massive ass city. And when I was flying through LaGuardia, I was like, oh my god, this city is like, or that fucking Central Park is huge. Like, you could see it from the plane. I was like, holy shit. It's massive. Everything is mad tall. Oh yeah. When I was flying over it too, like, man, just just how tall those buildings were and how close we were to them. I was like, bro. I think I'm about to hit the first sub 30. I sure did. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's the first ever sub 30. Holy shit. Now, the problem is I was not recording because, like, recording locally, so I'm gonna have to pull this off the stream VOD. Oh, but holy shit. Because I was just practicing commentary by myself for fucking Monday. Excuse my language. Holy shit.